So Chris Christie recently ordered an investigation of himself and hired a lawyer of his own choosing to conduct that investigation. Well, isn't that convenient? Isn't this ridiculous? I mean, already this story is unbelievable. You know, he was in trouble for the closing down the George Washington Bridge, which was a scandal, and then it turns out he dealt the Superstorm Sandy money, relief money, according to political benefits that he got. And then there was a third story about how he took 9/11 memorabilia from the actual site of the World Trade Center and gave it out to political allies if they endorsed him. Oh, and so he thinks, okay, well, this is a mess. So obviously no one is going to side with me except my own lawyer. Let me give you a headline from CBS News. Chris Christie's lawyers exonerate Christie in bridge scandal. Oh, I see. Okay, even that headline is too kind to him because it says exonerate in it, and that's what people might read and mistake this for a real investigation. Now, there will be a real investigation, federal prosecutors, and also there's state investigations coming up. But to give you a sense of how absurd it was that he had this guy Mastro do the investigation, CBS News explains, like Christie, Mastro, who was the lead investigator here, hired by Christie, is a former federal prosecutor. He's a former chief of staff to New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani, another former prosecutor who has staunchly defended Christie on talk shows since the scandal broke open in January. Several people in Christie's circle once worked for Giuliani, and it goes on and on. There's many other partners at Mastro's firm that also have worked and had close ties with Chris Christie. Half of Christie's staff is former Giuliani guys. Mastro's a former Giuliani guy. And on top of that, what a lot of these articles fail to mention is that Mastro represents the Port Authority, which is deeply involved in the scandal. One of the guys fired was from the Port Authority that Chris Christie put in there to do the political tricks. The conflicts of interest are outrageous. And, well, to be fair, though, they said they talked to a lot of people. And so I'm sure they talked to the opposing side that has a totally different story. Oh, wait, look at the Hill. They say the firm also drew its conclusions without interviewing Kelly, Wildstein, Baroni, or Stepien. Those are the four people accused in the scandal. In fact, the report says it was Kelly and Wildstein. Yeah, those guys. Fired them already. Sorry. Totally their fault. In fact, they even say that Kelly was having an affair with Stepien, who was, of course, Chris Christie's campaign manager. Now, Kelly's his deputy chief of staff anyway. Wildstein's put into the Port Authority by Chris Christie. These are all Chris Christie's people. The whitewashing of the report was unbelievable. They had scenes where Christie comes in and he was emotional with his staff and teared up saying, I want truth and honesty. Please level with me. The report is such an unbelievable, colossal joke. And they say, oh, well, and Kelly having the affair with Stepien, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you know how women get emotional after the affair broke off. Unbelievable. I mean, I've seen some whitewashes in my life, but this takes the cake. On Fox News, Karl Rove went out there and said, conflict of interest. There's no conflict of interest. This kid totally exonerates him. Anyway, let's move on. All is solved. I guess Chris Christie's not guilty. His own lawyer said it. How could you argue? New York Times described the press conference where Mastro revealed his report as looking like a defense attorney presenting his case to the jury. So it's okay because Mastro's going to come on this week with George Stephanopoulos on ABC, and he's going to explain that, George, there is no conflict here.
We haven't seen a shred of evidence that the governor knew anything about this lane realignment decision beforehand. If it were there in the hard evidence, we would have seen it.
Respond to this charge of conflict of interest. Your own law firm was also working for the Port Authority. Isn't that a conflict of interest on its face?
No, it isn't, George. The representation of the Port Authority, which has been cleared by the Port Authority, was something where both governors' offices agreed that my firm should represent the Port Authority. We had access to Port Authority documents as well. Let me be clear. We've had no incentive at our law firm to do anything other than to get to the truth. We will be judged at the end of the day by whether we got it right. And George, we believe that we got it right.
And George, let's see if you speak and say his name, then you get a personal connection, and then we believe you. They had no incentive. Oh, except for that $1 million they were paid. Did I mention that part? And get this, taxpayer money. Chris Christie pays $1 million. I thought he was a fiscal conservative. He cared so much about saving taxpayer money for the good folks in New Jersey, unless, of course, he hires his own attorneys to spend $1 million of taxpayer money defending himself. Outrageous. He talks about evidence. What evidence? They have evidence in the report that the mayor that refused to endorse him and then had the George Washington Bridge closed on him, which affected his town, they got the emails saying that he will not endorse. The next day they close the bridge and they write emails saying this is political payback. And Mastro says, well, it was unclear why they did that. We couldn't come to a conclusion. Well, I know, you were just looking for the facts, that's all. And then on the issue of the mayor saying, hey, he withheld Superstorm Sandy aid from us if we didn't endorse him, he said, those were demonstrably false, those charges. And then went on to say nothing about them. Well, then if they're demonstrably false, by definition, you would be able to demonstrate it. Which, of course, he couldn't because he's a paid lackey. By the way, what's really frustrating is in articles like the one I read on The Hill, which covers obviously Capitol Hill, the fact that they had conflicts of interest when representing Chris Christie was put in the 24th paragraph of the story. Exonerated, this, that, cleared, no evidence, etc. Oh, by the way, this guy is deeply involved with Chris Christie. Anyway, let's move on. In the 25th paragraph, no. 26th paragraph, they finally explained that they spent $1 million in taxpayer money to pay this guy for the whitewash report of Chris Christie. It's a frickin' joke, man.